welcome to Only One Stories. My name is Bonnie, and today we're going to be talking about Sherri Papini. And so we're going to watch the interrogation video while I get some chores done. One of my favorite things to do is to watch police interrogation videos because I'm a weirdo. And I am interested in true crime. Specifically, I love watching police interrogation videos, especially when you can see the moment, the detectives do the I gotcha moment. So anyways, let's take a look at Sherri Papini's case very briefly. Sherri Papini was 34 years old in 2016, November the 2nd, 2016, when she was kidnapped from her home in Redding, California. She went jogging that morning and she was reportedly, she was kidnapped. Her husband, Keith, came home later that night, and all he could do, he pinged her phone, and it took him down the road to a location where he was able to find her phone with her headphones next to it. And there was a ton of media attention, and Keith, the husband, went on lots of TV, lots of interviews, trying to find out what happened to his wife. She ended up being away for 22 days. She had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old at home. And 22 days later, she was dropped off, chained up, shackled up, and she was let go by her captors. She told the police that she was kidnapped by 2 Hispanic women, and they kept their faces hidden with bandanas. So the bottom half of their face was always covered. And they kept her head covered. She came back and her hair was chopped off. She had lost a ton of weight. She was bruised up, and she had a brand on her. People were thinking, this is so weird. Why did these 2 women take her? Why did they keep her for so long and then just let her go? What was the purpose of that? Was it for ransom? It never made any sense. She said that they had a handgun. The detectives had 20 search warrants that they ended up doing. They examined cell phone records, bank accounts, emails, social media. They did so much work, mostly, I think, because there's so much pressure from the media. So Keith, the husband, of course, everybody always looks at the husband first. Was he involved? Why would he do this? But anyways, was he involved? And he passed the polygraph, although later they said it was undetermined, but he was not involved at all. So she was found with DNA on her. They eventually tested it, and it took them back to her ex-boyfriend, James Reyes. She was arrested on March the 3rd, 2022 from the FBI for lying to federal agents, faking the kidnapping. She ended up signing a plea deal, admitting that she had orchestrated the whole thing. A couple weeks ago, she was sentenced to 18 months in prison, and she was fined $300,000 because she actually took money from a victims fund, and there was a GoFundMe. This whole story has been fascinating right from the beginning. And when when she was first kidnapped and then released, the media went silent for so long because the police were doing the investigating. And I was just so fascinated by this. I really wanted to know who did it and what the whole thing was. It turned out it was just Sherri the whole time. Why the big question is, why did she orchestrate this hoax? And I think the number one answer is that she's a pathological liar who is an attention-seeking little brat. And she just feeds off of the attention that she gets and the sympathy that she gets from people when these big things happen. And I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Let's take a look at the interrogation video together of Sherri Papini. This is from August 13th, 2020. Remember that the crime took place the kidnapping took place in 2016. So this is 4 years later. This is not the first time they've been interrogated. This is, many months, many years down the road. And so anyways, I'm going to be folding some laundry while we watch this together. And because it's an hour and a half long, I'm going to watch it a little bit sped up, 1.25.
Some stuff's come up. So we've always had the DNA out there in the world.
So you can see it's Sherri and Keith, her husband,
just like
the
always.
2 interrogators.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate you taking the time to come talk to us. Yeah. As always, your presence here is voluntary.
Yeah.
You can go at any time. And all we want is truthful statements because it's a crime to lie to federal
It's a
officers.
crime to lie to federal officers. Keep that in mind, Sherri.
So, so there's always been DNA out there, and we've done testing after testing. We've gone out to like the Parabon, which is a private company who does all like the genetics, and we've just hit wall after wall after wall. But recently, we found a familial DNA hit. So what that does, it just tells us it came from a certain person.
So I wonder if
a mother,
Sherri
a father, or a son,
is
an uncle,
thinking,
or however
uh-oh,
that
I've
is.
been
It just
caught
says that,
at
like,
this
somewhere in
point.
this family tree,
Or
is where
if
the
she
DNA
thinks
comes
they
from.
found some
So
DNA
with
to
that, we open up the investigation. We go into
to someone that they think is involved, but I know isn't. I don't know. I wonder
within
how
the
she
family.
must be nervous.
So once we started opening up those doors and looking through the family members and just trying to see Facebook stalking them, criminal histories, just that normal investigation that we do once we start looking into things, we started finding some interesting things.
Okay.
So one of the things that came out to us. If you-
Okay,
is there
what's
anything
this
in there
picture
that
of?
looks
Of interest or notable?
interest or
And that's an awkward photo, but
yeah.
I think this is the photo of a room that she was kept
The
in.
table, picture's a little
That
grained
she
out.
described it.
To me, I see a table there that somewhat looks like something you described to me in the past, and then I see wood paneling.
Because by this point, they've gone and interrogated
Yeah, we noted both of those
James.
things back in August
Yeah.
2017.
the boyfriend 3 days
When we
earlier.
spoke with you about, and you showed us this picture of the table. Do you remember that, Sherri?
yes, I do.
And
I think they're
so,
trying to
when
see,
we were
will she
trolling through
crack
this,
at this
you know,
point?
Facebook
Or is
page,
he going
we saw just the edge of that
continue to
table.
plead ignorance?
Denise got it, in fact.
Oh, cool.
Denise said, hey, Peter, look at this table. And I was like, oh wait, you're right.
Yeah.
And it has the wood paneling.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, well, where was that photo taken, right? And so we're trying to figure that out.
So,
I'm giving these little hints to Sherri to
so
say,
it's
we
led us
know.
obviously now to the, obviously this Facebook page has a person. It's got like people tagged into it, so it has.
So that must be James's
Peter has a.
But
Facebook page
still,
that's
like,
from.
that's still a valid memory, right? Is that this was the table,
Yeah,
a table like this was the table you were on when you were branded?
and we've been talking about that a lot because so many memories are so faded
The table
now.
from where
It's
she
been a
was
long time.
It's been a really
branded.
long time. So like details and things like that, we did the best that we could to take notes on it and all of that, but
By this
a lot of
point,
it's
she has
really
spent 4
Sure.
hard to think
years
about.
with her husband lying, keeping
Yeah,
up the
no, I see
lie.
both of those from what she told me. So.
Okay. So that was of interest. With that, we started looking at different people and who might be involved and just trying to figure it out. And I wanted to show you this picture. And obviously, people can change their weight, people can change the color of their hair. Don't, just because the photo might be a little bit different, as you know, women like to change their hair. And their
Who's the
makeup,
photo?
Their weight can change, so that might be a little bit different. But we wanted to take a look at this stick back and see if you recognize anybody, see these 6 photos. You don't feel like you have to provide an answer. There's no right or wrong answer. So let us know if you see anybody in this photo that you do recognize.
Are they going to do a fake photo lineup?
No.
I wish we could see a close up of what she's looking at.
Keith, if you could just wait not to say anything, until,
Oh,
that way we don't influence.
What are you looking at, Sherri?
I don't think so.
So nobody jumps out.
I mean, this one a little bit, but
Can you say this one a little bit? Which number is it?
number 3,
And when you're ready, I'll show you. the other
nothing's
one.
really like,
There's nothing in there that says, oh yeah, that's her.
no.
Okay.
I think they're showing her fake photos or photos of people not involved at all to see if she's going to incriminate some poor innocent person.
That's a pleasant group of people.
And you can keep you just plug it right in there.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe not that one.
So we're showing you all of this because ultimately this is the house that you were at. We talked to the people who live there.
Sorry.
We found the house. We found who was involved. We talked to who was involved. We talked to family who knows that you were there, and talked to a couple people or talked to one guy who did see you during this event. Unfortunately, there's a lot of truths. There's a lot of things that were said that we have always confirmed. That we've always said there's a lot of truths.
That is a
and
smart
there's
way to
some
lie.
unknowns. Like, one of the simple ones,
To
like,
add
the description
in
of the
a
bathroom
lot
was
of
just weird.
truthful
Like,
facts
that was like an argument in all of our offices where we were sitting there like this part's weird.
in with your
then we
lies,
find a house
because then they can.
Then
It's
the- all
more
thread through the thing,
believable.
that's just weird.
It's unique to this place. Like, that's a pretty custom, you can't just go out to IKEA and buy a closet that looks like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So once we have all those things and we start talking to the person who lives here, who had lived there, who still lives there, start talking to his family and starting that whole investigation, peeling one thing back after another, doing the same thing we've done for the last 4 years. It led us to a specific person, but not a female. It led us to the car that picked you up, but not an SUV. So there's lots of different aspects that are truths and falsehoods. And
You can't be to talk to us, truthfully.
So she's
They're asking
giving.
you, they're not
They're
asking
giving
us
Sherry
about
the
that.
choice.
You're
They're saying like,
And you can change your mind.
do you want your husband to be
Like I said at the
in
beginning
the
of your
room
so if you wanted to
while
chat to them
we,
privately, that's
when
fine
we
too, but
unravel
want to
your
talk
web
to
of
when we leave the
lies?
room, give you guys the room for a couple minutes. This next stage of things could be benign, could be like, we forgot to tell you this, or oh yeah, all these things make sense.
Or would
now.
she be more
I can
more
tell
likely
you
to tell the
puzzle that
truth
makes it
if
all
he
come
wasn't in the
together,
room?
Or I can tell the puzzle that crashes everything apart. I don't know what that piece is, honestly.
Man, they are patient
All I
with
know
her.
is facts. All I know is certain specific items that will either tear the castle down or is going to build the castle up. And I don't want to tear the castle down and not give you. the
So they're
ability to
like,
then
you
fix
have
your
the
own
choice,
castle.
Sherry.
Even if it's just a small.
What's it
thing
gonna be?
here, Or it's the whole castle. I want you to be
Look
able
at her looking.
to choose that. So we can step out of the room, let you
Because
guys
the
talk,
reason is
because I
if
don't know
she
what
says
information
no,
I
I
give
don't
you.
want him to
If
be in the
it's
room,
life-changing
when you
news,
tell me
or
what
if
you
it's,
know.
oh, yeah, everything's fine.
It's
I
tricky
just don't know
because
what it
then
is.
it
Usually,
might
right, we show the pictures
look
because everybody's invested in this picture.
like, yeah,
Keith
I've been
did the
lying
drawing.
and I don't
He's
want
the
you to
one
be
who doing
here.
this stuff. So Keith has always
But if
been
she
a
still
part of
acts
the memory for
innocent,
small
like, yeah, I
details.
want him in the
And
room.
that's why Keith's been in here this whole time.
I got nothing to
I
hide.
think he'll say for you.
Well, if he makes you feel safe,
She's not in an easy
you know,
position right now, but it's all her own
Absolutely.
doing.
And again, I just don't know what the pieces are. So if I would say, hey, this is gonna bring the whole world down, I'd tell you, it's gonna bring the whole world down.
What's it
And
gonna be,
then
Sherry?
we talk alone. Or I would suggest we talk alone. But that's
He
completely
wants to
up to you
stay.
guys,
He
'cause
wants to
I
know
don't
what the heck she's done.
Yeah.
What do they know?
We'll be right back.
At this point, he is not. He stood by her. He does not know. He still thinks it's this original version. Okay, here is.
You need to stop
So they
waiting.
leave. Leave him alone for a couple minutes.
Yeah, whatever you're doing.
Oh, listen to the voice. Ugh. Oh, don't whisper. She says, I don't want them to find her.
I don't want her to be arrested. I don't want to press charges on her. I don't want to find her.
I don't want her. This fictitious person in her
I don't want
mind.
them to find her. You're not listening to me.
It must be exhausting keeping this live for so long. She saved my life. It makes no sense. Even if somebody did, in the end, save your life by letting you go, she still kidnapped you and kept you away from your family for 3 weeks.
I don't want to go down that road. I don't want to arrest her because she saved my life and she's the reason why I get to hold my children every single day.
Oh, you're gross, Sherry.
I don't want them to fucking find her. I don't want
She's
them to
panicking.
arrest her
Why?
because she saved my life.
So you don't trust her?
She's panicking and she doesn't know what else to say, I think.
No matter what happens, you think this just sits here? This comes out, we found the house, it's over, whatever happened is over. And it doesn't matter what you say, everything, the girl's gonna get in trouble. So, you tell them the truth, everyone the truth. If you don't want to press charges, then that's up to
He
you.
just wants this done, finally.
I don't think I can do that.
You're not making sense to me.
This is the only thing that she can do right now is to say, I don't want her to be found.
So you need to. Tell me what's going on. Yeah.
Okay, they didn't leave him very long.
Do you want me to really not?
And obviously,
Hopefully you've had a chance to chat briefly.
the fears,
Later, maybe. But I'd rather
Nothing-
you just answer the question.
nothing that I'll say to you, I won't eventually tell him if you know, if you want me to.
Understand.
The only way to control things is for us to know.
I don't want you to find her.
We're not going to find her.
She's the reason why I get to see my children every day.
I agree. We're not gonna
Stop
find her.
delaying
The
this,
reason-
Sherri.
What do you mean by that?
She means the younger one let her go. Right? Is that what you're referring to? We're not going to find her. And we can just skip to the rock into the water and ruffle up the pond if we want to now. Again, this is your last this is the last time if you want to do this alone or with Keith. Keith's been through this.
Their
also
patience is
on a
running
different level.
out.
So I'm ready to move on
Yeah.
and throw the dart and throw the rock and see what happens with the water.
Throw the rock. Throw the rock into the pond.
I don't want her to get in trouble.
She's not going to get.
Oh,
So
she's not gonna
the
get in
DNA
trouble.
Came back to James Reyes. Your
The DNA that was on you belongs to James
This is the
Reyes.
moment.
The picture, and then can I get the picture? The
Look
picture
at her,
of the
look at
table
her.
is James
She's
Reyes'
looking at
little
him.
brother. He died recently. We talked to him. He's been on a polygraph. We talked to everybody around him. We have the rental agreements, phone rental, the car rental agreements. We have everything that says.
They've got
that
everything.
He said he told the truth.
That's James' brother, deceased Nick.
So everything, you've told us so many truths in this situation.
Okay, look
The
at
reason why you can
Keith's
describe the
reaction.
room
He's
is
probably
because
just trying
you stayed in the
to
room
take it all
dark
in.
for hours, for days on end. The reason why you lost so much weight is because you stopped eating. The reason why you got a rash on your arm is because you cleaned his house. The reason why the brand is because he went to the store, bought the branding tools, and branded you. The reason why your nose was broke is because of a hockey stick.
They know everything.
I know all of those things, and I know there was no
They know
sex.
everything.
I know all of that because he passed a polygraph test. That said, it's not an abduction.
I
She
wonder
asked
what
me to
Keith
come
is
here.
thinking right now.
No.
I rented a car.
Yes.
I drove up and picked her up. He passed the polygraph test, Sherri.
If that's not what happened, what did happen, Sherri?
I don't know.
She's been caught. That's
No,
it.
there's
That was
no
the moment.
way. It's James. There's no way. There's no
The
way.
DNA doesn't lie.
There's no way
DNA
out
His
of
DNA
this,
was on
Sherri.
you.
His
There's
brother,
no way.
Robert saw you in the house while you were down there. While everything
Robert's
spun out of
Robert.
control, his cousin.
Who's Robert? The
Why
cousin.
everything ran out of control on the initial.
They're trying to say, like,
There's
we know
no way.
everything.
It's 100% Robert's or James's DNA.
We even collected blonde hairs from the room.
There's no way. It's James. There's no
You're
way.
not smart
Why
enough.
did it?
Why are you saying it's not James? Why are you
Because she
saying
doesn't
it's
want
not?
to own up to it. Look at Keith looking at her like, how could you do this to me?
It's me.
What's that?
We were friends.
Mhm.
There's no way.
And he came and got you because you asked him.
No.
When was the last time you had contact
Yep.
with James?
His brother died.
Brother died in 2017? Is that right?
I don't remember.
Was it before or after the abduction?
I wish we could see the angle of, like, Keith's face.
When was the last time you saw James?
I don't know. Forever.
Oh,
ago.
suddenly she doesn't
I
know.
lived in Southern California.
So the last person-to-person contact you had with him was back in 2006? When you were living in Southern California?
I don't know.
So
Was it prior
I wish
to
they
your
would, like,
marriage?
force her to put her head up and
It's him.
face them.
There is no way. It's him.
well, it is
The
James.
DNA tells us that it was his
Well-
DNA on you.
The DNA alone says it's him. And when we talked to him, confronted him with the DNA,
He told us what happened.
He 100% told us what happened.
He gave us details that nobody else would know.
And we can call him and we can all talk about it. But ultimately, can you look at me for a second? Ultimately, we put
Can you
him on
look
a
at me?
polygraph like we did
She won't.
Keith was inconclusive, to be honest with you, on whether he was involved or not.
I really
But
don't think he was
100%
involved at all.
James was telling the truth. The questions were, did Sherri ask you to come pick her up? He answered yes. That was the truth on a polygraph. We asked him,
Keith.
"Did the two of you ever had
The
sex?"
more they
answer is
talk,
no.
the worse it is.
During 2016.
During 2016, during the abduction, he said no. That was the truth. We asked him if you asked him to brand you. The answer was yes, and he passed the polygraph on all of those questions. He took us to the stores where he bought the chain. We talked to the friend who rented the car. The car that he rented drove over 900
I wonder
miles
what's going through her
and
head
drove
right now.
on the drop-off
She's
point.
probably just like panicking.
Sherri, I know
There's
this is a lot to
nothing she
take
can
in.
do now. You can tell she's used
Also,
to
it's
getting
not
her
like we
own
don't know the
way.
answers to these questions.
And the fear of Keith's reaction.
She's used to
obviously
manipulating
matters in the
everybody
room.
and getting her own
The
way.
fear
She's like a
of
little toddler
media,
right now
fear
throwing a
of
tantrum.
All of these things
Wasn't me.
are coming forward. They're in front of you now. The only way to get a hold of it, the only way
And look
for
at her
everybody
hiding
to
her
come
face. She
together
can't
and
even
heal,
face it.
The whole community has to heal. Is for us to be able to say when we presented all of the evidence, all the stuff that came forward, you told us the truth. You told us what happened.
Nope.
Because you did go in a dark room. That's true. You did lay in the backseat of a car. That's true. You did
To hide.
Lose weight. You were branded. Your hair was cut. You did have bruises all over. But how those bruises got there?
Look, he's
because you
he's
did
like
it and
trying
James did
to
some.
inch his
The
way
reason why your
away
nose
from
got
her
broke
because
is because
she's.
you held the hockey stick
I
to
think
your
he's
face
disgusted.
And he forced it into your nose. The reason why the brand is in a straight line is because he did it. He described exactly where it was. He told us exactly how he did it, where he did it.
I want to
to
see the brand.
Only you and I and maybe 5 other people know where the brand was. He told me immediately. Robert told friends and family you were there. His mom knew that you were there because of course it went news and everybody knew you guys dated. Everybody knew you guys had a relationship.
So there
when it
must have been a
happened, of
whole
course,
community
family
of
reached out to
people,
him and he told him, yeah, she was
or
here.
maybe a small group of
But it
people
said her, I
who
didn't
knew
heard
that
it.
she was there the whole time.
So
What are you thinking, Sherri?
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, what are you thinking now?
Why doesn't it make sense?
It doesn't make sense because she
What
doesn't
actions
want to
doesn't
get
make sense?
caught.
A lot of it doesn't make sense.
can we talk about those?
No.
No, I want to talk about
James' DNA was confirmed on your clothes. The two of you haven't seen each other in over a decade. You told me that you haven't been in his room, you haven't had contact with him in over 10 years. However,
You described his bedroom to a T.
and the DNA on you was still a vibrant piece of DNA. 10-year-old DNA dies. The DNA that was there specifically was non-seminal fluid, was seminal fractions. You got that from his house somewhere. So whether it was the bed that you were sleeping on, whether it was the couch, whether it was anywhere in there. When somebody would come to the door and be around the property, you'd call James, James would call Robert, which is those 2 doors down. Robert would run people off the property. Robert told me all of that.
Man, see, they involved
James
so
told me
many people in
everything.
this.
So the only person that
Why?
hasn't
What?
started telling us certain facts. There are certain facts that are true. When we were sitting there talking to James, there were so many truths that were a part of your story that it's hard to decipher the lies. Until we
I
put
bet
all
Keith
together.
is just holding his anger
Until he
back now.
says, hey, how did you pick her up? I opened up the passenger side seat, I opened the door, you jumped in the back seat. Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? I don't know. It was weird.
I bet he was
So
hoping to
are you calling
rekindle
James a liar?
their little relationship that they used to have.
Are we not believing James what he told
Why
me?
else would he do this?
I know you're scared.
Cannot believe that it is James.
I can't
I
believe
cannot
James told us
believe
the
that
truth.
I was caught.
That's what I can't believe. He passed a polygraph, Sherri.
So did Keith.
No, he didn't. He was inconclusive. And he was involved.
So James is involved. But I don't.
James picked you up. You called James to pick you up. You mailed him a letter with your address. You used
No.
a burner phone to call another burner phone for James to come and get you.
You're saying since you're married you haven't called James?
No, I have called James.
Because earlier you said you had contacted James. His phone records show that you do. You did. The phones don't lie, the DNA doesn't lie, Sherri.
His polygraph doesn't lie.
So you can go a couple different directions now.
His story.
I've already told you lying to me is a crime. So you walk out this door telling lies, and that's a crime.
I think we need my lawyer. This isn't making any sense.
What's not making
I think
sense,
we need a
Sherri?
new
The
lawyer.
parts that
That
don't
it's
make sense-
James.
No, the parts that don't make sense are that you're accusing 2 females who abducted you when it was James. The part that you were branded, James did. He told me he did.
No.
Who would sit there and
No,
say,
no.
I branded Sherri on her right shoulder blade? Who does that?
And told us how and showed us the letters that matched the brand.
Took us to the store and pointed out the letters.
Look how far Keith is trying to scoot away.
The problem is today's the case is resolved. Everything, the only things, well, how do we prove that you're telling us the truth? How do we prove that the truth is that 2 women took you, but I'm telling you it's a male? The fact that you were branded is true. The small fact is that you willingly laid down and did it versus being tied to a table. So we could do the polygraph and try to, whatever parts you're confused about.
I wonder how she thought she was going to get away with
Can I talk to
this.
you?
She's
Outside real quick? Or late?
That's fine. The fears of how out of control everything
I think
got,
he's just ready to
the fear
lose
of
it.
all these things is the reality.
Oh, now she's
And
going to
the only
scrunch
people that
herself
can
up
slow
into a
the trend
tiny
down
little
is you and
ball.
I.
Like, make herself as little as possible.
You put yourself through this so when you
I'm a
came forward,
victim.
you can tell certain stories. You missed. You couldn't control the DNA that we found.
You're not as smart as you
You
think.
couldn't control.
That's what
when
he's
you talked to
he's
James and
really
tell us
saying.
what
You're
happened.
not as good as you think. It's like all these criminals who choose to like
Story always
represent
is hard
themselves in
for
court
everybody
or
to
be their own
understand.
lawyer because they think that they are smarter
The
than everybody
tragedy
else in the room.
The community went through, the events that unfolded, the fear now of what it all means. But there's without a doubt, James's DNA was on you. And the
no.
the
No.
likelihood of it being an ex-boyfriend is a problem.
No.
It's astronomical. Then you add in, when we go talk to people who never even heard of us, when we say, hey, what's going on here, they knew that you were at the house. All of them never came forward.
No.
Nobody.
Now she doesn't know what's going on. I don't remember. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, you sure knew exactly how to describe this fake Hispanic lady.
This was a long road. I had no idea what it was going to take me. But right now, continuing and saying the two girls took you.
They're trying to prove, like, I'm just going to pause it there. So the incidents where she was at a party playing Wii, she accidentally like thwacked herself in the face or whatever and got a bruise. And everybody around witnessed that happen. And she later went and told a friend, I think more than one person, that it was actually Keith who had abused her. And this is what she used to tell people. She told James that that's why she needed to escape. She said, that's why I need you to like get me away and rescue me, is because Keith is abusive. And apparently he's not at all, which is just like one more layer of like, how awful are you? Like, what is your problem? She's a pathological liar who just is desperate for attention. Okay, so I'm going to skip forward. So they've taken Sherri out, and now Keith has requested to come back in.
It's still, we can't tell you a lot, honestly. I don't know what, I told Caleb to let you know some of the details, some of the stuff went out.
Can you, I mean, from my side, I feel like, my whole world's gonna flip upside down again. Why is that? Why am I always getting held out of things? Like, why can't you just hit me with it?
I did, I told you.
I know, yeah.
Because this happened Monday.
No, you're saying you can't tell me all this stuff.
It's still an ongoing investigation, so you're not gonna find out answers. I mean, there's.
He wants to know, like, what
That's
else
the
are
way
we
it
going
is.
to find out?
Can you help me throw me a bone and then go, I mean, she made it up, is that where we're going, right? Or is she trying to come up with a whole another?
We're not gonna give you any additional details. Obviously, you've heard the questions, so you can
Yeah.
read through some of those and understand. You've seen some of the photos,
Yeah.
so you know some of the
Well,
investigative work
obviously you
we've
saw me, I was
done.
like, yeah, we found him.
And we did.
Yeah,
But you can also notice your reaction compared to her reaction.
yeah, no, 100%. That's what I'm saying from my side, but now you're telling me, okay, you guys can go home now. Well, do you think I want her anywhere around my kids or around me at all at this point?
And again, we've
I
talked
don't
a
blame
lot.
you.
I don't know what the next stages of this are. That's why.
It's not
that's
us
why
together, I tell you that one.
whatever those decisions are, I don't know.
But the
Well,
weird
probably
thing is that they
we can all
stayed
agree.
together, as far as I know, for another 2 years.
Somebody can do something like that to their body and try to trick everybody that they're probably not fit
It
to.
was 4 years ago.
We can't get into that, but I would say, obviously, we are concerned about the welfare. We don't want any kind of domestic dispute between you two. We also don't want.
So give me a quick legal.
They don't know
not
how
legal,
he's
give
going to
me some-
react when
Sure.
when she gets
If I
home.
don't want her in my house tonight, what options do I have?
You have to get restraining orders. You have to get legal stuff.
I wish I was a fly on the wall.
I'm gonna tell her she has to go to
In the
registration
car
or
ride
something.
home.
She's not going to my house tonight, and I gotta call. The next stage of this, please give me the courtesy of telling me when you're gonna announce it so I can not be at my home. and
Probably
make sure-
tonight.
Oh, god damn, you're going quick.
We have
Well,
to
I thought you said
control
it's ongoing now.
They're going to announce it
we have to-
We're
tonight.
gonna talk about that, but
It's going to happen quick.
I understand that. He was thinking tomorrow. It's like, okay,
You
that'll give
blew
me
up
time to-
everybody in LA. So there's a hornet's nest in LA.
Mhm.
It only takes one person to go in and say, hey, I know what actually happened. I want 10 grand. And now they run to LA News.
Yeah.
It blows up without our control.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know the strategy. We still have to, we had to get through this before we can get there. But this,
Is there anything you can tell me next? I thought you said you were gonna tell me something when I came back in. I'm like,
the person that we talked to down there is absolutely involved.
no, I know
Absolutely
that.
everything.
I know that.
So
I've never
that's
given
what
you guys
I'm
that guy's number, so that, I thought.
So
I think he's
that's where we're
wondering,
at.
he's asking now, like,
And then what did she say?
was she
just
kidnapped
have to
by
be patient.
James?
Let it play out. I know it's gonna be really hard, but it
No,
also
I-
makes it
but I-
easier
But
for
I
you.
think he knows
Well, look, they're not gonna ask
that
you much
she
of a
was
detail.
completely
No,
involved.
and
She's the
family
one who
members, your own
orchestrated the
family
whole
members.
damn
You can look
thing.
them with a straight face and say, look, they're not telling me yet.
But like, even Kettle right now, I was like, well, you guys can give her right in the house. I don't even want her in my car right now.
what Kel said. I wasn't-
That's
He doesn't even want her in the car with her.
I'm assuming we'll
With
get
him.
arranged for her to get there if that's what has to happen.
Because I need to make some phone, if you're gonna release it that soon, I'd like to call him.
I don't know if I can call you today. I'm gonna go from this to another meeting, and that meeting's gonna lead to another meeting, and that meeting's gonna lead to another meeting, and then we'll be figuring stuff out.
Are you saying you want us to help you with transport for her?
I
To get it back
think
to
so,
the
I
house?
don't think, I mean, you gotta give me a couple, I thought you guys were gonna call me back in here with her. So-
Well, she has to leave, so
Oh.
she's free later if she wants.
So I think we'll talk, and we'll probably, she's probably not gonna talk in here, so we'll probably go out to the car, and then I'll be like, I'm not going anywhere with you until.
If you guys want to check out the car and come back up and tell us if you need assistance.
Ooh, I wish
that's-
I could see the aftermath of that.
Pretty good, I ain't punching walls or nothing, I just.
They didn't get actually separated, legally separated until another 2 years later in 2022 it happened. And then she was eventually sentenced to 18 months in prison for lying to the police and mail fraud. I think that was because she took all the money, the donations and all of the victim support money, and she had to pay back a ton of money as well, which is good. So yeah, in the comments, let me know your thoughts on what you think of her sentence and the interrogation video. Whew. Thank you so much for watching Only One Stories. I hope you will join me again. If you'd like to like and subscribe, that would be awesome. I'm still a brand new channel and I would love the support. If you would like to follow me on TikTok, I'm very active on TikTok, and I'll add that information below as well. Let me know if you have a case suggestion in the comments, and I'd be happy to look at it. I love looking at different true crime cases as well as lots of other things. Whatever's happening that's an interesting story. So let me know, and I'll see you next time.